Got a fire. We have fires all the time. We're not worried about that. Luckily, we never have a lack of work around here. My buddy Don, who we recently did that 49 Chevy little hot rod thing for, called me up the other day and said, hey, come pick up some more junk from my house. This time, this 49 to 53 Chevy is going to be on a four-wheel drive chassis. And this is not normally something we would do, but we love fabrication. We shorten frames, we make bed mounts, cab mounts, all kind of stuff. We're actually positioning the cab on this so that it sort of looks like a COE.
It looks awesome.
It's going to look cool. So COE is cab over engine. When this thing's all said and done, it's actually going to be pretty cool. It's going to be four-wheel drive, 49 Chevy, lifted, great big tires, a flat bed behind it, and sort of a roadster grill out front. No fenders or anything. So it's actually looking pretty cool. We did a mock-up. We know where we're cutting the frame. We know where we're altering all of our mounts. 48-hour build on this truck right here. Our part of it anyway. Actually, we're hoping to do it today, one day, which is a lot. I think we can do it. I think we can do it all today. If I stay here and I don't go do all these things that I have on my list, that takes me away from doing what I'm supposed to do. So, Tommy, do me a favor, check in there and see, is my ugly head in there? All right, so I've said many, many times, my three favorite tools: tape measure, scribe, and a square. Now I gotta tell you a funny story about this square. It's called a speed square. A buddy of mine, or two buddies of mine, Adam and Holly Kreutz, have two of the most awesome kids in the world, Christopher and Kyle. And the other day, when I was talking about this square right here, the speed square, I said, hey, you know, you need to do this thing. Well, apparently Kyle was watching my video with his father because their mother doesn't watch them. Thank you. Anyway, so I said, you know, this is my favorite tool. It's a speed square. And Kyle tells his dad, they call me Uncle Pete. Kyle tells his dad, Uncle Pete needs to learn his shapes. That's a triangle, not a square. Well, the awesome thing is he's 7 or 8 years old, and he's absolutely right. This is a triangle, but it functions as a square to give you a square thing. So his father went through and tried to explain to him how this is a square, and he just was having nothing to do with it. He said, no, that's a triangle. Dad, that's a triangle. That's not a square. That's a triangle. Uncle Pete needs to learn his shapes. So, Kyle, you're right. This is a triangle, but it helps me to draw square lines. So, Kyle, Christopher, you guys are awesome. Holly, you need to watch my videos. So we are, with these three tools, we are getting ready. We're going to shorten this frame 10 inches, all we're going to do. So we're going to pick a spot where I'm going to be able to find a consistent measurement on the other side. So we'll pull it right off of this hole right here. There's a number stamped right here. So we're going to save that number for him. So we're going to make our notch. So for shortening it 10 inches, because we're going to do what's called a Z-step, we have to measure 20 inches. And with a 10-inch mark, halfway down the middle, it's very easy to do. Check it out. So if we're going 20, I can't go off that. I'm going to go off that. That'll be good.
You talking to yourself again?
Yes, I'm talking to myself. Thank you very much. So we'll pop this up here. And I have a cheater's way of doing the bottom measurement, because you're not going to lay underneath it and cut, because that would have everything falling in your face. Once I have this section cut through partially, I will take the square, lay it on the inside of the frame, remark my line, and then I can direct the saw blade from there. So let's get our 20-inch. We'll burn an inch. 21. I use my speed triangle. Kyle. Alright, now we got to go 10 inches in between.
Find it funny that you just couldn't solve it. You know? You can do it.
Yep. Sorry. That's a triangle. Alright, that's about perfect. we'll take that. So now we're going to make a horizontal line. And we'll do that with another square, a framing square. And we'll clamp it so that we get our thing. And then what we're going to do is, this gives us our knot. So we got two 10-inch sections. We'll come up, burn across here, up there. And this one will come down here, there, and down there. And that way they lap over like, how will you do that? They go over like that. It'll work good. All right, let's get our measuremento. 3. That's actually pretty darn good.
I'm a little reluctant to try to take this off.
Take what off? So why don't you want to come take them off?
I just want to go through the trouble, but.
Tommy's all right, there's our line. Now we're going to go do the other side. And what we will do is, when it's all said and done, we're going to use the Sawzall and the cutoff wheel. And this will be lopped apart and put back together here. Honestly, I'm telling you the time right now. It is 8:07 right now. We're going to do this, put it back together, tack it, weld it, and we'll see how long it actually takes.
Well, that doesn't happen every day.
No. All right, so what Tommy's doing, he's taking off the existing cab mounts because they're not going to be anywhere close to what we need. And you could leave them on there and they wouldn't do anything, but boy, it would look like chicken crap, so we're not going to do that. Anyway, we cleaned it up a little bit and we're going to build our own mounts to put this cab on it. All right, so you see here, I have basically two big rectangles. I've scribed the heck out of it. So what we do is, we're going to cut down here, cut across, and go down. And then this one goes here, across, and down. That way this long part will go over here, and this long part will go underneath here. So our distance from here to here is 10 inches, distance here to here is 20 inches, but when they overlap, we shorten the frame 10 inches. So what we're going to do is we're going to support it up with the cherry picker, because it'll hold the frame up. We can cut straight down through there, and then we'll lop off our pieces to what we want. So, check it out.
All right, so now Pete's got this all laid out. I marked it for myself so I won't destroy something. Be like, oh, you cut the wrong one out. Anyway, we're gonna start by doing a horizontal rip on the frame. Rip it. And it's gonna be super cool.
Rip it real good. All right, we have a small complication. I forgot that this frame was bent when we brought it here from Don, and we have to put a new front clip on this. So we won't be able to probably accomplish this in one day, but we're still going to try. But I have to go out and get that other front clip from Don, and we're going to have to do a whole bunch of measurements and get this thing figured out. So we are going to chop this down right now, get it lined back up, and get it tack welded so Tommy can keep playing with that. That's easier to do as a two-man operation. So we'll get that all done. I'll zip out and get that part. Tommy can start finish welding this and start pulling the front end apart. We're still going to shoot for today, but boy, life just got difficult. Chopping all the way through, coming up here, coming down there, right? Chopping all the way through, coming up here, coming down there. I'm going to go call Don real quick. Tell him I'm going to be heading out there to get that piece. I'll let you chop away. This is called a Z cut. So it's sort of a Z. So anyway, see what we did? Removal, removal. We're going to pull those two together. And hopefully we didn't do anything wrong. And they should line up. Well, now for some bad news. Tommy just went through and trimmed an extra inch off that because I messed up my numbers. And we cut this one 11 inches and this 9 inches, which means this one here is going to have to be extended. So we'll get some pliers and we'll just pull that out an extra inch. Wah, wah. We'll have to weld a piece back in there. Oh well. Par for the course. We'll get it fixed. All right, we're going to screw these two girls together. We're going to do some tack weld. Well, first we're going to bevel our edges so that we get a good penetrating weld. We're going to screw them together. We're going to tack weld it, and I'm going to go pick up another part. Tommy's going to weld away. All right, we're going to roll this forward. All right, so we're just going to clamp on one side first. Hold on. All right. Everything I'm doing today is wrong. We'll fix it. So right here in this corner, we're gonna do a nice big tack. We're gonna do a tack down here. We're gonna end up filling that because I screwed another thing up. But we're gonna get nice heavy tacks on this.
So it's all jigged up. It's pretty square. All of our joints are lined up and tack welded. So now we're gonna go ahead and weld it. I'm not gonna just sit there in one area and just weld the whole thing. I'm gonna do it in increments, probably inch increments or something like that. So anyway, let's get it on.
So we had a request from one of our viewers to videotape us cleaning up our mess. We're not doing that because you asked. We occasionally do clean.
You know, like this stuff. That's an actually airbag mount for a rear end. You don't want to throw that away, right?
All right, in video land, that seemed like about 30 seconds, but that was a lot longer than that. It was at least 5 minutes. Exactly where I put it.
Alright guys, so the frame's finished welded. Now we're putting our gusset plates in here. So I'm going to go ahead and tack these guys in here, and then obviously take the clamps out. I have 2 of these made. I'll go ahead and put the other one in there, and it'll be super awesome. Get them while they're hot.
What'd you do, Tommy?
I don't know, cab mount fell off.
We'll throw that right in the scrap metal bucket. All right, we are welding up the last of the internal braces, which the way we did the Z notch, you wouldn't have to do this anyway, but everyone always freaks out about it. So we do it. So we are going to weld this girl up right now. Thomas, would you grab me my eyeballs and my welding helmet, please? That's what you get for climbing in here and not having your equipment ready. All right, well, we started this morning at about, I don't think it was 8:07, and I had to go somewhere for about 3 or 4 hours, so that messed everything up. And some people came over and talked to Tommy, so that messed everything up. But it is 2:30 right now, so if you take away the 3 hours that we were doing nothing, we actually did this in about 3 or 4 hours. And it is all welded in. We have our reinforcements taken care of. I'm going to paint this black right now, and we're going to go to making cab mounts and bed mounts. All right, and we worked a little bit ahead of you guys. Last night we had drawn out the rear cab mounts that we're going to weld to the frame. Basically, we had taken a full piece of metal, split it down the middle, put our angles on, and Tommy cut them apart this morning. Made these beautiful brackets, nice rounded edges, everything's not sharp. So what's going to happen is he's going to weld to the frame, and we're going to put a cap on top of it with a hole in it, and that's where you're going to bolt down through to hold the cab on there. So we're going to cut some pieces out of this 1/4 inch plate. That's going to sit on there with our hole in it. All right, we're going to cutify. Let's do it. I'll get the buzzer over here. We'll weld this thing up.
And this is a engine mount for 55
Chevy.
55 Chevy. They work great for mounting anything. Core support, bike, building. They cure what's ailing you.
Yeah, and they're cheap. Well, nothing's cheap anymore, but this right here, a set of 4 of them costs like $8. And they're nice and dense rubber. Does exactly what we need. We buy these things all the time. So, that is more than perfect, isn't it? Let's cut it. We'll get it welded up. I'm going to pull the welder around. I'm going to want to weld it on here. We'll set it and we'll buzz our thing. And then we'll cut our other pieces. We need to make 2 more mounts for the front. We already have our measurements. So we'll get those cut out and then we'll verify them. We'll drill our holes, yada, yada, yada. And we're going to weld this girl together. It's going away today. Today. It's going away today.
So Pete's got this drill. I don't know if it's for mixing concrete or what, but it'll take you for a ride. You gotta watch that one.
All right, so Tommy did a great job on that. All right, so OMJ, Old Man Jarman, once told me the difference between an amateur and a professional is 15 minutes. So we have these holes here that are perfectly fine, but the edges are sharp and they're real square. So on this one, we're going to use that right there, a countersink. And we're going to make those look just a little bit better so that if anyone ever looks at it, it'll look like it was done right. All right, mounted up our countersink. We're going to get some electric to it since we don't have any of that Tesla free energy floating around. Look how beautiful that is. Just one extra little step sure makes it look nice. Not too bad, huh? For being a cab mount. Now what we're gonna do. Alright, you can make fun of me if you want. I got these silly sleeves on. Yesterday I was doing a bunch of welding and basically gave myself a sunburn. And you know, I'm a sensitive guy, you know? Good enough. All right, well, there you go. There's our bolt location. Got them in the right spot. We will go get those welded on. All right, so while I was making those rear cab mounts, Tommy has been taking all the dimensions, laying everything out on this piece of metal right here. We have the hole drilled, a bird mouth here notched. He's got another thing scribed he's going to cut. Good stuff. So on this guy right here, after it's all detailed up and polished up and everything, we're going to weld that in. We'll tack it first, we'll get it all bolted up in, then tack it to the frame. We'll pull the cab back off. We're going to hard weld all of our pieces. And then all we have left to do is cut a hole in the firewall for the engine to set in. And we'll be out.
Alright guys, let's go and do our cut. Theoretically we should be able to make 2 of these and they should fit somewhere close. Anyway, I'm sure there's going to have to be some fudging, but that's alright. It's okay. There's that guy right there. I'm not going to bother cleaning it up. It's going to make a duplicate. So before I completely cut this off, because I only end up with this small little foot to punch the hole. Alright guys, so we got the hole now. So we're going to do our last bit of cutting.
All right, so check it out. There's our rear mount. So we just got it tacked on, so we can get in there and get it buzzed up real good. There is our front mount. And it's been tacked both sides. Same thing on the other side. Same song, second verse. And we're gonna weld that in. Now back here, all we have to do is weld these on. That's our extension so that the flatbed sets on it and it sets above the frame. So we have those 4 marked out. We're going to do some welding. Fire. We have fires all the time. We're not worried about that. All right, so you saw us welding. Here we go. We're going to do a walk of shame. I mean, walk of frame. There's another mount. Tommy started painting stuff up just so it doesn't rust. Hold on, don't do that yet, Tommy. We got in here. And basically, I'm not going to go to the other side. You can see we're all good. We're all good. Now we need to set the cab and set the bed.
Alright guys, it's been a wonderfully productive day already. Obviously our cab mounts are on and welded, paddle wheeled, painted, they're all pretty. What we're doing now is we're using our fancy biscuit mounts for the 4 corners of the cab. Man, it's like they were made for this or something. Excalibur. It's always nice when something comes together. Actually works like it should.
Dead nuts, baby.
So the distributor doesn't want to go all the way in, but that's okay because we'll just take this measurement and call that wire relief, I guess. Anyway, obviously the bottom of the engine is going to go down a little bit because of the engine pitch that it's obviously going to require. We need to go laterally back 5 inches at least. So, what are we gonna do here, guys? Kind of the trick thing would be to cut this all out like this, profile the engine, and then just take that whole thing and go back 5 inches. Let's use this as a common reference point. What do we got? If we did something like that. Over here, so that 13 1/4 looks like over here. 13 1/4 is right there. These. You guys writing this all down? I hope you are. That would be something like this. Okay, so if we're going back 5, we're going to go downsies. Not a whole lot. But I think we should keep this dimension here. I think I have an idea. Pete might want to change it, I don't know. Anyway, either way, we got to start with a hole to get the motor set back to even find out where it don't want to be, right?
All right, this is the last step. Tommy has drawn out where we're going to cut the firewall. That's so the engine and tranny can set back where it needs to be, because we pulled the cab way forward to make it look like it looks. So he's going to chop her out. We're going to send this girl on down the road.
Yeah, there was no question where that cab was going.
No, it was going right there.
All right. Alright guys, we're just going to kind of do an arbitrary line here. We don't need to cut this out quite yet until they want to try to fit the transmission. And that way the cab doesn't get all weird on you. Anyway, but it's almost out. Almost out. Famous last words. I'm going to eyeball this one and see what the eye crowner are doing today.
It looks pretty darn cool. Not too bad for just a rat rod piece of junk, 4-wheel drive, 49 Chevy built in less than 24 hours. All right, let's get it pushed back in and finished up.
All right.
All right, now we're putting these, well, those aren't gonna fit.
Yeah, I got that.
That one will. I'm hoping this will work. Nope. But what we'll do is we'll put 2 on and then I'll let him make his new bolts. How about that? Sound like a good idea? All right, you need washers? Well, we'll let him put them on. He can make his bolts, right? So like usual, it took a little longer than we thought it was going to, but we had so many interferences. I had to run and go do banking stuff today and start opening new accounts. That took an hour and a half. We had to go track down parts for Trey's C10. We had to track down parts for the Land Rover, LS swap Land Rover we're doing. What you need?
Lock washers.
I've had to do all kind of stuff. Tommy's been left alone again. He's getting really used to that and tired of it. But I'm going to drop it off to Dawn tomorrow because it'll be done with our part. About an hour.
The clothes are in surprisingly good shape.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll see if we can fix one for the back. And this girl will be ready to roll. Tommy hates air so bad. I guarantee we'll have it on a ratchet that works. Hey, I cannot believe you guys made it through another video. Amazing. This girl is done. Firewall's cut out, the cab is set, the bed is on, the frame is shortened, everything's welded up, everything's beautiful. It's going to Don tomorrow. He's going to throw a drivetrain in it, make this girl go down the road. You know what? I think it turned out pretty cool for just a big old pile of junk. Anyway, we really appreciate you guys coming out, checking out the things we do. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up, share the link, leave a comment, and as always, thanks for watching.